Hi, I'm going to put my PhD expertise to good use for once. If you have it, might as well use it. I ranked the worst levels I've ever beaten, which surprisingly was very difficult. Picking out the 10 was actually not the difficult part though, because there were 10 definite standouts, but which one was worse than the rest was very difficult to find out. I chose this ranking by putting every single element in a level amongst the others in quality. So I was comparing 5 different categories, which were decoration, gameplay, hitboxes, color use, and originality. 4 of these really do speak for themselves, but the hitboxes category may be a bit more weird. This is mostly referring to the fact that pretty much every single one of these levels has some of the worst hitboxes you will ever see, and so I will be giving bonus points if they don't have bullshit like moving objects, inverted slopes, or invisible transitions. I gave all 10 levels a ranking from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best. This is ranked amongst one another and not amongst all levels, because otherwise they would all tie with a total score of 5 out of 50. Either way, let's just start off by naming some dishonorable mentions. Levels that are also bad but aren't quite as bad as the levels on this list. I won't be going into any detail on any of these, by the way. Geometrical Dami V2 is a terrible remake of Geometrical Dominator from early 2.0 with garbage gameplay. Paracosm 12 is the most unbalanced level I've ever beaten, but at least the decoration is sort of okay. Pneumatic Tokyo is a mess that is poorly put together, but has some redeeming qualities, mainly that it doesn't look that awful. SW50ZXJZ DGV SBGFY is an early 2.0 level that looks like shit and plays like shit. On top of that, it credits the people that make garbage gameplay like this transition. Sweet Dreams has terrible gameplay and is very unoriginal, but at least it's solidly put together. Ship is supremely unoriginal and has garbage hitboxes, but is saved by the gameplay being a little bit okay, I guess. Dorbe Choose Way 4 is horrible, but at least it has a pretty cool concept that is done not well, but it has been done. Clubstep EX is supremely uninteresting and probably the least effort I've ever seen put into a demon level. Goo 3 slots right in when talking about gameplay and hitboxes, but the decoration and originality factors are far too positive to be on the actual list. And then what I would pick for my number 11 spot on the list, which is Permafrost Village, with the gameplay and hitboxes being supremely horrendous, but being saved by it having a theme that is followed adequately well, I guess. You might notice that most of these levels fall in the center range of difficulty, mainly hard demons even, which both me and my fellow bad levels extraordinaire safe space agree is probably on average the worst difficulty range. Anyway, onto the actual list, where the biggest compliment I can give a level is that it exists, which is very pathetic. Let's start with this list by going to the only easy demon on the list, with number 10, Supreme Lab Origins. Compared to every other level you will see on this list, this is the easiest one, being an easy demon. This is what I would say is probably the worst easy demon in the entire game, mostly because it has unremarkable decoration and outdated style doesn't cover up its truly awful gameplay and weird ideas. Still, compared to all of the other levels on this list, it's somewhat playable and the secret way gives it bonus points for once. It is because of this secret way that it gets the most points for gameplay on this entire list. That is very pathetic and sad, but still, you have to get all of the W's you can, you know? So yes, an awful level that is saved by this steep competition. Number 9, 2090. Oh wow, this one actually doesn't look too bad. Why is it even here then? Well, it's a fucking mess of a level under the surface. The hitboxes in this level are some of the worst I have ever seen. Plus, the level isn't very interesting or original. It's oddly messy and looks wrong. Gameplay-wise, it will get worse, but this is certainly still awful, don't worry. It's so awkward and unintuitive, and the hitboxes don't help it out either. Though the decoration is kinda decent, I really hate playing this level, and the gameplay is somehow even worse than it looks like it is. I would not recommend this. Number 8, Classical, Ray Orions Edition. Ew. This is quite possibly the worst 9 Circles level I've ever beaten. There were 2 in the honorable mentions section, but even those are better than this. Of course, the decoration is mid as hell, it's very unoriginal, but the gameplay is so annoying to play. It functions as it should, but it functions like shit because it should function like shit. Sticking a rake in your eye is probably preferable to doing the spam parts in this level. On top of that, it looks like a very bad 9 Circles level, so it sucks ass. Don't play it. Instead, leave a like and subscribe. Now we are getting into a different level of bad levels, where you will very rarely find anything good to say about any of these. Number 7, Infernoplex. Here we really start to fall down a quality rabbit hole. Because what the ballsack is this? Like, yeah, it's unique, I'll give it that, but just because something is original, it doesn't mean it's good. It has so many ideas that it throws at the wall, and none of them are even remotely realized, which is very funny. I originally had this as the second worst on the list, but then I actually realized that a lot of this level does stuff right, which isn't something I can say for the bottom half of this. And with the something right, I mean the experimentation is actually quite commendable. The experimentation failed miserably, but at least it gave an attempt. Also, gameplay-wise, it's f***ing miserable. So yeah, obviously a goddamn mess of a level, but god, it is funny. Number 6, Lum Bent. This is the sleeper pick on the list. You might be looking at this level and ask yourself, is this really that bad? At first sight, this level looks very mediocre, but compared to most of the other levels on this list, it looks okay-ish. But good f***ing god, this level sucks dick under the glossy layer of decoration. And the glossy layer isn't even that glossy, this level is just bad. This is the level that inspired the hitboxes score category. This level has legit the most bad hitboxes I have ever seen in any level I have ever just seen. Not even played, just seen. Like, this ship is probably the worst offender I have ever seen. Like, what the fuck? Besides that, the gameplay is very awkward and it looks mid as balls, but it's, yeah, no, the hitboxes completely ruined this level. That does make it very funny, and the inverted slopes in this level really make a statement on how society is burning, but yeah, what a perfect mess. Number 5, Speedcore. Speaking of a not perfect mess, Speedcore can die in a hole. Not only is it ugly as shit, it is also f***ing awful to play. It's not that buggy, but every single click in this level is so goddamn fast and so wrist straining. On top of that, like you can see here, the colors are just puke. They are so ugly. The thing that really puts the icing on top of the cake though are the invisible blue pads that auto you into these awful spam parts. Like, the fact that they are invisible just ruins any chance of this level ever becoming consistent. Either way, this is my least enjoyed level on the list. That is probably because it gave me hand cramps and a lot of rage. Stupid fucking level. Number 4, Massacre. That's an accurate enough name. What happened here? Like, what the fuck happened here? This is made by one of the most well-respected creators in the entire game, Sir Hadoken, which makes this level even more puzzling. This is just such a 2.0 level. In the drop, there's just a random part that feels like the drop of Devil Vortex, which I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it is there. The theming and colors are just abysmal, but that speaks for itself, I think. The decoration is mid as hell. The gameplay is actually terrible, which is a pretty big surprise considering a lot of these bad levels at least have some enjoyable gameplay. Or when it's not enjoyable, like in Speedcore's case, it's actually well enough made. I mean, either way, this level isn't getting saved from being this low on the list. I have no clue what drugs Sir Hadoken was using while making this level. All I know is that it's definitely illegal. Number 3, Reduction. Top 3 times, starting with this goddamn thing. This is the reason that aliens won't come to Earth, which I am very grateful for. Thank you, Reduction. Very cool. Thankfully, this level is by far the most interesting that we have had so far, because what the f is this? What happened here? This creator also has Russell's reaction under his belt, so he's an extraordinaire in making the worst levels you have ever seen. The reason that that is not on here, by the way, is because I haven't beaten it. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it would probably be the worst easy demon in the game. Anyway, back to Reduction. This just looks like a bunch of Skittles that have melted down onto the screen. It does have that sort of Infernoplex vibe where every single part is different and awful in its own way. The gameplay is not good, but it's also not the worst. we have seen. It's just overall not a good level. It is such a mixed bag, but most of the mix is awful. It's really just a product of its time, let's be honest. Reduction is just a moving object simulator. Number 2, for Matilda 2. This is the level I used in the thumbnail as clickbait. But I actually unclickbaited you guys because this level isn't just rated, it is also featured. Wow, how fun. So for anybody out there going, why is this mediocre level rated? Just look at For Matilda 2 and sigh in relief. You know why now. There is a redeeming part in this level, being this funny robot gimmick. The rest is pure garbage though, so this is more like a bandage on the flesh wound. Like the fact that every single part in this level is totally different and awful. The fact that this is made by Jazor, which shows that nobody had a clean transition into 2.0. Besides the robot gimmick, there really isn't a single part I would consider above a 1 out of 10. It's also buggy as shit, and the last 40 or so % is just this stupid fucking UFO. It is the worst part of the level, yet it takes up most of it. Yeah, this is just an all-around mess, save by the gameplay being somewhat playable at times. The bar is very low, okay? Only one level left, and if you know me or know the channel, you will probably know what level takes the cake. Number 1, Stalker. Look, it's garbage! Are you surprised it isn't Eker Hacker version 2, by the way? I would have done that, but I already did that way back. The colors, the decoration, the consistency, it's all trash. I know that may sound harsh. Don't let your clothes get all hung up on this one, please. The colors are especially revolting here. What the fuck happened? If people were criticizing it in early 2.0, you know you've done something very wrong. The funny text does give it a lot of bonus points, but still, it's definitely a 0 out of 10. This just deserves to be number 1. I don't think I have to spell out why. It takes the crown, though there was a lot of competition, we all know it would. So yeah, the average quality there was in the negatives, which wasn't thought to be scientifically possible, but hey, humans defy science all the time. This list is ever changing, and if it changes enough, I will make another one, but that's for next time.